podcast, and I'm here with one of my really good friends from many, many years ago, Josh. Hi, Josh.
Hi, Beth. So good to see you.
Good to see you too. It's been a while. So
Long
Josh
time.
is an entrepreneur and a business owner. I can't even talk today. And you have built many, many brands. Your newest company is Acquisition Brands. And yeah, if you would please just take a couple of minutes and tell our audience a little bit about yourself, more specifically where you come from, your experiences, successes in business.
Sure, absolutely. So born and raised in Los Angeles, got into the internet space, let's just call it, back in 2004, and spent probably about 6, 7, 8 years helping build a lot of early stage startups. Starting in '04, where we had one Lower My Bills that got acquired. Then I went over to Yahoo, and just spent a lot of time in the internet tech space. And then after all that, I decided I really wanted to help on a macro level, help a lot more than just kind of one company at a time. So we started Neohire, which was a recruiting firm for the hottest startups out of Los Angeles. And then after doing Neohire for over 10 years, 12 years, we ended up selling that to a Tokyo company, Tokyo-based firm. And then about 2.5 years ago, we started a new company called Acquisition Brands. And the purpose of this was, after helping so many startups, everyone needing so much help, we noticed there's a huge gap between marketers, between sales, and between the companies that are out there, a lot of old school traditional companies. And in the industry, there's a lot of traditional and new age marketing agencies out there, which is great. But the problem with the marketing agencies is that they're buying media on these younger platforms like Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat. And as you know, those platforms to buy media is getting harder and harder. So when you start marketing and attracting the people that are on those platforms, you then have an issue with how do you sell those customers? And a lot of traditional companies have a really hard time selling that audience. You know, they're used to doing TV and commercials and stuff that comes in the mail. And it's really hard for traditional companies to pivot to the younger demographic and to the new platforms of digital marketing. So they usually turn to agencies. But agencies are, again, it's a service business, kind of old school. So what we've done at Acquisition Brands is that we took the best growth marketers from the startup world of the last 20 years. The marketers who built Dollar Shave Club and Tinder and Honest Company. We took the best marketers in the world and we brought them to us to work with us. And we said, let me blend your best marketing and then let me build the best sales team. I got a partner who's incredible with building sales teams. So we took the best marketing, we took the best sales team, and then we went to the old school traditional companies and said, hey, we're not just a marketing agency, but we're a marketing and a sales company. Wow. And we're going to give you customers, and we're not going to take a penny from you until we give you a customer and they're paying you. And nobody's doing that model. So we at Acquisition Brands essentially are a marketing company plus a sales company combined for now the financial services vertical. And we're taking this model into other verticals, from insurance to auto to potentially senior living. And that's what we're doing with Acquisition Brands.
Woo! I've known you long enough to know that your brain does not stop, but this is definitely just hit me out of nowhere. Congratulations.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Definitely doesn't stop. Doesn't stop at all.
Wow. So how long ago was this company established, the Acquisition Brands?
So we created about 2.5 years ago. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. All right.
Yes. And the biggest and best component was really forming the right partners and the right team.
That's a great point, and that kind of leads me into my next question. I mean, do you have advice for first-time entrepreneurs or relatively new business owners around this?
Absolutely. So, my last company was kind of founded by myself, and there's only so much capacity one person has, and also the brain capacity and your vertical knowledge of how much you know. And it's really unique how this came about. I had a brother and a sister kind of pitching me an idea over 2.5, 3 years ago. And, I asked them, where did you come up with all your money to incubate this startup that you're pitching me for funding on? And they said, we made some money in the call center sales space. And I said, I know marketing really well. I know the startup world really well. What I don't know well is how to build sales team, and I don't know how to build a call center, and I don't know the whole operations side. So really finding your partners is identifying what you don't have and what they're really good at, what they're powerful of doing. And by merging that, that's how you're going to build something big. And that's first time ever I've noticed that's how you build a bigger company. There's only so much you or someone like you could do. But if you really blend yourself with someone who has a complete opposite world of experience and blend it together, that's where the magic happens.
I would agree with that. Being resourceful is so important. It's not always about the how, it's about the who. So finding those.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very nice. Well, obviously we're still during this whole COVID situation. And I mean, have you had to pivot quite a bit on your end? What's going on?
Not entirely. So as the Corona situation came about, we're in the financial services vertical. And the biggest thing we notice is actually, in general, for us, it's a benefit. Well, in a way, more consumers are going to be incurring debt as they are trying to put more, they're getting laid off or they have to float more money. They have to figure that out. Some of the difficulty was, again, we're in a big office. We have a lot of people working close with each other. So, it took a little bit of pivoting from getting people trained to work from home, getting them to kind of move their gear home and get the training set up. We had to work on monitoring tools to kind of monitor our employees from home to see kind of their productivity. Some people thrive working from home and some people are terrible at it. So essentially we were able to kind of segment the producers that can work from home and, they can stay home and work. If not, you're gonna be at the office, and then making sure everyone's 6 feet apart. We have weekly COVID testing at the office. Everyone must wear a face mask and shield when they get up from their desk. So, wasn't hard. It's been enjoyable. I look forward to, when we have a cure so we don't have to live like this forever.
I hear you. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Also, a powerful thing about this situation, I think is a good tip, is that now is the time to really figure out your efficiencies, and now's your time to strike and take advantage of the market, take advantage of a lot of companies having issues and shutting down, and absorb talent and figure shit out so you could really scale. So it's, it's been nice.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because kind of the theme here is turning fear into profit. So let me ask you, what was the biggest fear or fears you had to overcome going through the process of building not just this company, but some of the other ones you've dealt with as well?
So some of the fear, one of the biggest things that I've kind of identified is that it really takes time to figure things out. Just macro speaking, you're going to burn money, you're going to burn time, and it's going to be extremely frustrating kind of figuring the processes out, figuring what works, what doesn't work, and it's going to cost some money to really test and optimize. But you need to keep a very high level thought that if this person has done it, I could do it. If this person's living in this house and he made it from doing this, I could get there. And in order to do so, you have to keep trying, and you got to keep fixing, and you got to keep optimizing, and you got to keep testing. And it eventually will work and it will succeed, but you have to have the appetite for loss. It's highly unlikely you'll ever succeed or pass or be profitable on first go around. And as long as you have the stomach and the appetite to keep testing until it works, that's what I've learned, is that it will eventually work. And you keep trying and you give it a fair share before you give up on until you try something else. You have to have a threshold, but just keep trying and it works out.
So let me ask you, how do you know when the threshold is?
Sure. You have to know, if you have a partner or a significant other, you have to have some sort of metric or number in your head that I'm going to keep trying until I hit this amount. And you have to have kind of a set number to know what your appetite for loss is. Also, if it requires people to help you, there's a lot of unique ways you could structure incentive deals on how to bring someone on, right? I can't afford this person's salary, but I really need them to be successful. So in order to do that, let me structure a unique, let me forget equity. Equity is great and all, but it doesn't mean anything unless you're successful. So how do I, let me figure out to pay them a draw where it's essentially their salary, but I'm going to recoup it as the revenue and receivables if and when they come in. Or if I get this person, I'm going to tell them I want them, I need them. And if we get to X amount of revenue, if it works, then you're going to get X amount payday, right? So you try to figure out and structure performance deals to bring the high caliber or the needed talent on with you to be successful. Because what is going to make or break the success of what you're working on is really who you're partnering with.
Right. That's a great.
It's crucial.
Yeah.
It's crucial. And this, like, relationships essentially are everything.
Right. And I think also I've noticed in the startup world is being careful not to listen to too many different opinions or quote unquote advisors.
90% of the time, the person doesn't understand what you're working on nearly as much as you do. So you could take all the feedback you want. It's actually fun because you're going to hear the negativity. You're going to hear the haters. You're going to hear it won't work. It's a bad idea, but you know it better than anyone. So if you believe it'll work, 100% it could work. And you should take that negativity or the turn downs as energy and passion to drive the success for what you want to achieve. Like that is what drives me to win.
I love that. More people should realize that. Yeah, tell
Absolutely.
me I can't do it. Watch me do it.
Bingo.
I love it. So let me ask you something. Being so successful, obviously, for so many years doing what you do, what would you consider the biggest pillar of profitability is in relation to your business? I mean, marketing, business development, sales, mind, body, making sure you're on that level of consciousness. What would you think is most important?
So I told people this from day one is the number one, as you grow, what's going to make you successful and achieve kind of greater stance than anyone is really making your employees and your partners happy. You need to treat them as if they're your family. You need to make sure there's no corporate politics. You need to give people, I've always said this, like, you want people to go to work and feel like it's going to camp, right? You want to bring them food and snacks and beverage machines and coffee and cake pops and Starbucks, and you want to put the Peloton in the office. You want to do things that your employees love to come to work, and they're going to make money by doing that too, right? The harder, and you always want to have an ability where there's opportunity for someone to have uncapped potential. You want to put them in a situation where the harder they work, the more money they make. You want, the biggest thing that makes me happy, people now in my office buying new cars or buying houses, and you want to empower them to be successful. The happier you are encouraging and giving to your employees and seeing them become successful, everyone's going to work harder. The energy is incredible. And that's what kind of keeps drive and success. And you'll never have to worry about losing employees. I found that super important.
I would agree with that 1,000%. So speaking of success, define success for me.
Success is different for a lot of people. I don't necessarily think it's a number thing or a metric thing. I think every person wants to win and achieve success, and it's different. Success is different value for everyone. For me, success, bringing back to what we said earlier, is proving to others that we will win, that we can achieve what we visioned, right? There's nothing more satisfying when someone doesn't believe in the idea or someone doesn't believe in how big something can be. And when you prove it wrong by just, oh my God, we're up to 100 people now. We're going to be 300 next year. When you prove people wrong, that is success. That is just proof of concept success. It's winning. It's also winning when you get to a point when, as you do grow and as your company's working and everything's kind of blending and humming together, you start noticing that people coming to you. You start noticing you could attract the talent that you never thought you'd be able to attract. you start to notice that people want to be involved with you. And it's a really good thing. You know, we're at a point where we're literally hiring the best people in the industry. We're my best friends who I thought I'd never be able to bring to work with me. I'm bringing them all on board to work with me. It's an incredible feeling. It feels, you know, that feels like success. And it's again, it comes back to, this is like working at camp. I get to be working with my best friends, and we get to be building an incredible environment, and nobody's greedy. Everyone's helping everyone. Everyone's making money. And it's a really good feeling.
It's all about that level of energy and being on that higher vibration. And like you said, you literally
Totally.
you. So on that note, talk to me a little bit about your morning routine and how do you keep yourself so energized and hyped up and just in that
Sure.
mindset of winning?
I naturally have a ton of energy. So does my crazy 5.5-year-old kid. How do I maintain? You know, so first of all, I try to find myself always on. I'm always reading. I'm always researching. I'm always browsing. I'm always knowing what's going on in the industry. You know, started doing, it's very important to exercise every day. Started doing with the whole COVID Corona situation, started going originally as Pelotoning, and then getting out in the mountains and riding mountain bikes and blasting just kind of really good music in your ears. And by doing so and being outdoor, it really just kind of helps you laser focus your goals and your ambitions of what you want to achieve when you kind of have that adrenaline and music playing and you're exercising. But you know, my routine is just really making sure I'm on top of everything, making sure I see everything that's going on, making sure I understand, you know, everything that's happening, and kind of talking to, you know, the managers and everyone on my team, and getting kind of a download from them. You know, one big thing that is important that I've also learned, and I try to teach other leaders, is that you need to delegate. You know, a lot of executives try to have their hands involved in everything, but it's really important to hire and delegate a responsibility for them to take over and manage. There's absolutely no way one person could be responsible and grow the whole company. You have to delegate, and you got to trust someone. It's very important. So my routine, just know everything that's going on, try to help, try to delegate, continue hiring great talent for our company, and exercise every day and try to eat healthy. That's the you know, the basics.
I love it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I can't thank you enough, but let me ask you, do you have anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
No, you know, I think you'll put my LinkedIn or my contact info on this thing, but that, like, again, I think your biggest drive should be the negativity and the people who doubt you. For me, that's what has driven me. And again, just walking around and seeing, you know, those private jets in the plane, seeing in the air, seeing the boats that are out there, and just think to yourself, if people could achieve that, how could you achieve that? And that should be your drive to win.
I like that, because I think a lot of people get stuck with the imposter syndrome, or they feel like they're afraid to fail. And like you said earlier,
Totally.
you have to. That's how you learn.
You absolutely you have to.
Awesome. Well, I can't
Yeah.
thank you enough for being here and taking the time. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to speaking with you again.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you soon, Bess.
Thank you.